Hey, what's up, everybody? Terry White here, and I wanted to share with you some of my top favorite Lightroom innovations across Lightroom and Lightroom Classic over the last year. So in no particular order, here they are. And by the way, if you stick around, I've got a sneak peek of a new feature that's coming to Lightroom. You'll be the first to see it. Let's dive in. So let's start in no particular order. Like I said, this is my first and favorite, and it's one of your favorites as well, and that is the AI Denoise. So I'll just go over and click Denoise. Now it's already done the processing for this image, so it would take a few seconds. I think it took like 9. But in this case, after it's processed, I still get a slider to control how much noise reduction it does after the fact with no additional processing. I can then copy and paste this setting to multiple images, or I can, in Lightroom Classic, sync it to multiple images. But it's just great to be able to do this level of AI denoise built right into Lightroom and Lightroom Classic. Now let's talk about people that do portraits and fashion shoots. Typically, in those cases, you're going to shoot hundreds of frames, maybe even thousands of frames per shoot. A lot of the images may be similar because you just want to make sure you got the shot. And a lot of them, you might get one out of focus, you might get one that's the eyes are closed, so forth and so on. And so you spend time going through frame by frame, looking at each image and seeing if that image is the one you want. So now instead of having to do that, we'll go up to the assistant culling. And with assistant culling, I can go in and say, first of all, show me all the ones that are in focus, or better yet, eliminate the ones that aren't in focus. So it starts marking those as rejects. And I even have a slider to control my preference for how much it has to be sharp before it eliminates it. Show me the ones where the eyes are in focus. And you see I got that cranked up pretty high because eyes being in focus is very important to me. Then next, I want to make sure the eyes are even open because sometimes you might have a shot where the eyes are closed. So each time I check one of these boxes, it's starting to eliminate ones that don't meet that criteria. So same thing for misfires. Did the flash misfire? So the shot's super dark or the flash was overpowered and super light. So we have overexposed, underexposed, and misfires. So out of my 308 images, it has now rejected 55 that don't meet that criteria, saving me the time of having to go through them one by one. But I still want to check because I just want to make sure it's not eliminating one that I do want to keep. I can go in and hover over any one of these and see why it rejected it. Oh, it rejected this one because it doesn't think it matches my focus criteria. It even shows me the score. It's 79. I may have had the score at 80. All right, let's head over to my next image where we'll talk about one of my favorite topics, and that is distraction removal. So as you can see, this image has some reflections in it. Reflections can be a creative tool as well, but I'm going to go ahead and apply the distraction removal, and just like magic, it not only allows me to remove the distraction of the reflection, but it allows me to even bring some of it back in, and I can even go to the other side and see the initial photographer. So this is pretty cool to be able to have this technology built right into Lightroom and Lightroom Classic. I can even turn off that light back there. Look at that. So this is great. Love it. Next up, one of my all-time favorites, and that is dust removal, AI dust removal. So for example, if I were to go in and I were to zoom in on this photo, you can then start to really see that dust in the sky. This is from, of course, getting on my sensor or on the lens. So I just go to the dust removal, click apply, let it cook for a few seconds, and like magic, the dust will be gone. Just like that. You can even see all the spots where it found dust throughout the image and quickly and easily remove them. So you have a before and an after of dust removal, and you even have the ability to go in and manually remove any that it did not find. Quickly and easily, AI dust removal right here inside of Lightroom. Next up, this is another favorite, and it is the landscape masking. We've had some great masking for people and objects, but now we have a whole new landscape category. And when I click on this landscape category, it will identify the top things that it finds in the image. So it found the sky, it found the mountains, it found the architecture, and it found the vegetation and water. So I can go ahead and click each one of those, and I can create separate masks for each one or one combined mask. Separate mask would be the way to go. Once it's done, then I can go to any particular mask and make any adjustments that I want. So if I want to adjust the exposure of the landscape, bring it down a bit, I can. If I wanted to go to the sky, there's the sky. I can go ahead, for example, and dehaze the sky. And it's just great to be able to bring this back. Same thing with the water. And again, it's found all these things for me. I can just go in and make my changes to my heart's content. So if I wanted to even make that water a little bluer, I could to match the sky. So that is the landscape masking. Next up is another favorite, and this is the new adaptive color profiles, adaptive color and adaptive black and white. So I'm going to do adaptive color, and just like magic, it just really brings in the color overall in this image. I can go ahead and adjust it down if I think it's too much, or I can bring it higher if I think it's not enough, and I'll just leave it right in the middle, because then I can go in and adjust the individual elements that I want to control, such as the contrast, the exposure, the highlights, so forth and so on, just like I always do. So this is great to be able to have this built right in as the new adaptive color profile, and there's also one for black and white. Now, this one's pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and grab two of images here. I'll grab these two, and here's a hidden one that most people don't see right away. You can edit in Photoshop, but now you can open as layers in Photoshop. And what that means is that it will open as many images as you select. I only selected two, but now they will come into one Photoshop file as a composite. So there are both layers there. I've got the top layer selected. I'm going to go ahead and free transform it, flip him over. And then while I've got him there, I'm just going to go ahead now and simply remove the background. Just with one click, the remove background, so I can see the layer below. So layer one and the background, and there it is. I still have control over layer one. So if I wanted to take layer one and move him around, I can, and as well as scale, size, or do anything else I want with that layer. So it's just great to be able to start your composite right away from Lightroom by being able to open multiple images into Photoshop as layers. All right, next up, let's talk about a sneak. Let's talk about something brand new that's yet to come to Lightroom as of the recording of this video, and that is, I'm going to go ahead and select this picture of my great-great-grandmother. Now, this particular photo is very low res. If we were to go and look at it, it says it's only 720 by 900. That's very small. So it's not suitable for a print, and this is the only resolution of this photo I have. So now you'll be able to go right into Lightroom. You'll be able to go to Photo and choose Generative Upscale. Brand new inside of Lightroom, coming soon. And you can choose it's going to use the Topaz Gigapixel partner model. And we can go ahead and choose that's going to do an upscale of 2 or 4x. So that's going to take it from that 720 size to 2880 by 3600. I can even create a stack from those two images if I want. So let's go ahead and hit the upscale. We'll let that cook for a moment. And it just finished by putting it right next to the original. Now, here's the beauty of it. This was the quality of the original, the 720 pixel by 900 pixel image. When I click on the other one, it looks exactly the same. So I didn't lose any quality. And now it's 2880 by 3600. And again, I can select both of those. If you want to see a side-by-side comparison, I can go in and I can choose to view those in compare mode and see them side by side to see that they do in fact look identical. So then I can take the one that's higher res, I can even add some sharpening to it, and output that image, and it will be suitable for making a nice sizable print. Now, those are just a few of my favorite innovations, but there's some honorable mentions I'm going to mention right now, and that is Quick Actions has made its way onto iPad. It was a great feature, is a great feature on mobile, on iPhone. Now it's also on iPad. And also for my Leica buddies out there, you can now shoot tethered from a Leica into Lightroom Classic, as well as my Nikon buddies out there. You'll enjoy the improved performance of shooting tethered with Nikon. So now we support all the major top brands, or at least the ones that people talk about the most, and that is Sony, Nikon, Canon, and now Leica, are all supported via tethering in Lightroom Classic. So go check out these innovations. Let me know in the comments what your favorite innovations are. And with that said, cheers everyone. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye everybody.